Hello and welcome to Dave Hill's podcasting incident with me, Dave Hill, the pride of Cleveland and beyond. You wouldn't believe what it's like to walk down the street with me in Toledo, for example. Anyway, it's total pandemonium. Thank you for joining me once again for the newly revived Dave Hill's podcasting incident. Please tell your friends and enemies that it's back. And at least slightly better than before, I think. I don't know. And by all means, rate and review and subscribe to this incredible podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your incredible podcasts. Today, I come to you from a secret bunker in northeastern Ohio where I'm recording with the cold, murky fury that is the mighty Lake Erie in clear sight from where I'm sitting right now, which I can't tell you where that is. Anyway, I'm also recording this intro into my iPhone because I forgot my futuristic Spire recording device that I usually use for the intro and outro of this critically acclaimed podcast. My dad really likes it, for example. Anyway, Thanksgiving is this week and no one can believe it. And speaking of being thankful, I once again want to thank all of you who have been supporting this podcast via Patreon. And by all means, if you haven't done that yet and you feel like it, you can go to patreon.com/Dave Hill or just go to Patreon, Patreon.com, and search my name using futuristic internet technology. And you'll find it. And it's great for everybody. You can get all the t-shirts, patches, and all sorts of stuff. This week, I would like to thank Amy Noel Adams. Amy also qualifies for membership into my seriously irritable street gang, the Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit. Amy, your official gang member name is, get ready for it, Indiana Amy, Fury of the Midwest, and anywhere within 40 miles past that, too. The more I really think about it. That's all in caps. That's the full name. So if you want to get that tattooed somewhere or branded onto you, all of it. You got to get all of it. I would also like to thank Michael Lawless. Michael, your Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit name is Michael. Guy who hates laws so much it's right there in his last name, damn it. How's that for hating laws? That's the full name, too, also. Sorry these names are so long, but, I mean, you got to get, the full bang for your buck, I figure. Finally, I would like to thank Jill Fitterling. Jill, your street gang name is Astoria Assassin, who fits like a glove, and by the way, that glove is coming for your nose if you don't watch your damn manners. Not bad. That might be my favorite. I don't even know. I can't choose. Anyway, there you have it. Those are the people I want to thank this week. If you would like to join my street gang, the Dangerous Snakes Who Hate Bullshit, and get your street gang member, or any of the other exciting perks, I could call you and sing Billy Joel, for example. Maybe you get a t-shirt. Go to patreon.com/Dave Hill and join in supporting this podcast endeavor and all other podcast endeavors we endeavor to do. And now I would like to move on to answer some listener questions. Chris, can you add some thoughtful music here? Okay, thanks. If you would like to ask me, Dave Hill, a question here on Dave Hill's podcasting incident, please send me an email at chitchat@davehillonline.com. That's chitchat@davehillonline.com, and I will answer your question right here on Dave Hill's podcasting incident. Up first, we have a question from Wade Snook, who writes, "Hi Dave, long-time listener, first-time emailer. I have a question of great importance. Do you have a butler, like Mr. Belvedere or some shit? That'd be cool to have a butler. Thanks, Dave. And I look forward to a response. All the best, Wade." Well, thank you for your lovely question, letter, Wade. And actually, yes, I do have a butler like Mr. Belvedere or some shit. and her name is your mom. Man, that was a sick burn. Wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that to you. I'm going to answer your question more seriously. No, I don't. I hope you're happy. Up next, Nick Hubert asks, "Hi, Dave. First, I wanted to say that it's great to have your podcast back." Thank you, Nick. "I hope you managed to get all your admin done over the 5-year break. Anyway, my question of great importance is, who would you say are your greatest influences in comedy/music? Keep the podcast coming and say hi to Lucy for me. Best wishes, Nick Hubert." Wow, that's a thoughtful question. And I want to say my greatest influence is your mom, but I'm not going to do that to you, Nick. Not going to do it. I'm going to answer you seriously. Oh, gosh. In comedy, I mean, Dick Cavett, of course, Chris Elliott, Andy Kaufman, Fred Willard. Who else? So many people. Bobcat Goldthwait. The list. So many incredible. It's hard. Where do I even start? But there's some of them right there. In music, I got to go back to the beginning. I mean, these are all, Led Zeppelin, of course, Jimmy Page, The Kinks, The Who, Bad Brains, Husker Du, The Replacements, The Smiths, Black Sabbath. I guess these are all pretty typical dude answers for music. But, I'm a rocker. I got a 6-pack in my locker. What else do you want? But thank you. That's a great question. And I could seriously name influences for both until probably, I want to say May. Okay, but thank you. If you have a question you'd like me to answer here on the incredible Dave Hill's podcasting incident, I keep calling it incredible, the power of suggestion. Eventually be like, I guess it's incredible. Anyway, send me your questions at chitchat@DaveHill online, and I'll answer them here to the best of my abilities. And now, I would like to move on to the main event of Dave Hill's podcasting incident, in which I have a person of interest over to my home for coffee and delightful conversation with me and my sweet, sweet hellhound, Lucy. Today my guest is the hilarious Mike Sachs. He's a writer, humorist, dare I say comedian, and a handsome gentleman from the Maryland area. He's written a few books, several books, and here's the kicker: Poking a Dead Frog, and lately he's been getting into audiobooks, which are the future, because you let someone else do the reading and you just sit there and soak it into your brain. He did Stinker Lets Loose, which is awesome and hilarious and has a cast that'll blow your mind right out your butthole. Coming up, he has, I think his latest is Randy, the full and complete unedited biography and memoir of the amazing life and times of Randy S. And he has a third one that he will allude to in vague detail during our conversation. Mike also hosts the great podcast Doing It with Mike Sachs. He's one of my favorite human beings, and I think after listening to this, if he's not already one of your favorites, he will be. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's my lovely conversation with Mike Sachs. Mike Sachs, thank you so much for coming to my living room.
Thank you for having me. At any time, if you could just point at me and I can start reading, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, let the record show that I've just I can't give away what I was doing with, just because it's for this other project. But I just interviewed the author Damon Suede, who writes gay romance novels, and you have a copy of his
I do. Whenever
bestseller Hothead.
Right, and when it gets slow, I'm just going to kick right into it.
Yeah. This will be good. I'm excited. That's a whole
this could go on for hours. Just
That's
based
what I'm
on.
saying.
I've just sort of skimmed hothead.
Well, I've done more than skimming while you guys were setting up, and this is some hot stuff here.
There's a lot of hot stuff in there. He was telling me that. Well, no, he didn't. Well, we did discuss it, but on the info sheet, that's Lucy. As anyone, regular listeners will be well aware. He was telling me that 50% of male readers are straight.
I wonder how he knows that.
Yeah, that's
Amazon doesn't keep those stats, and if they do, they don't tell the authors. Like, I don't even know how many books I sell through Amazon. So how would he know? I think this may be wish fulfillment, wishful thinking on.
I like the
Damon's part.
idea of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. It's like, a lot of gay prostitutes say that a lot of their straight customers are some of their best customers.
They say they're the best ones? How so?
Not the best, but as far as a lot of their customers claim to be straight.
Oh, I see. Oh, like their most frequent customer. Okay. Yeah. I thought you meant like best, like pay on time and stuff.
You mean logistically?
Yeah, but just best, like
pays in exact change, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like it was all, there were no like weird bills or anything.
Yeah, no, I don't mean like that. I mean like just these straight guys coming out of the woodwork, and they may not even be straight, but they claim to be straight.
Just be like, it's the darndest thing, I'm straight, but.
That's right, and a lot of Hasidics too. They like prostitutes.
I've heard that. There's I've heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there was a. Well, anyway, that's a whole other.
That's a whole shebang, right?
That's
there.
A whole other thing. Well, I was going to ask you actually because you've written several books, and now you're doing a lot of audio. You've written Poking a Dead Frog, which coincidentally I contributed
yes,
to.
You are.
And I didn't feel worthy. I have to be honest.
Really? Why?
Because I'm garbage. Come on, we all know that.
You're beautiful garbage.
Oh, thanks. And here's the kicker.
That's right. That was the first book of interviews. Yeah.
Which I'm not in, to be clear.
Right. You weren't worthy of that book.
Yeah, let's be out. I mean, let's see who's in that. Yeah, you have some real Lucy drinking water.
Right, it's loud.
It's pretty loud. We can't EQ that out.
It's pornographic, really.
That's a thirsty dog.
Oof, dirty, thirsty dog.
But now you've been doing a lot of audiobooks.
Right. Well, that came about just by accident. What happened was...
I was going to ask you how it happened.
Yeah, I put out a book called Stinker Lets Loose last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really just... I wanted to put out a 70s type book that you would find used. It would be new, but it would look used.
Yeah.
And the joke was that this book came out in 1977 or 78, and it was now the 40th, or 77 is now the 40th anniversary. So it was just really just an excuse to write a book. In particular, it's a novelization based on a fictional 1977 movie called Stinker Lets Loose, which is a Smoking the Bandit type movie.
Yeah, sort of like a road.
Yeah, that used to be huge back then. Every Which Way But Loose, Hooper, all those movies. So I wanted to do that.
And then it's Every Which Way You Can, the sequel.
Yes, that's right.
I saw that in the theaters.
That's when that chimpanzee, orangutan, really wore that cowboy hat.
Yeah.
I love when orangutans give the finger.
Yeah, it's always delivered, and you can do it repeatedly throughout the movie.
Well, they do three things. They give the finger, they blow a raspberry, and then they just move their lips.
Yeah, and it works every single time.
I love it. I'm really simple that way.
Do you know, I read, not to bring it down, but I read that the orangutan in that movie, they didn't treat him great.
I think he was shot dead when he was stealing donuts.
From the set at Craft
Yeah,
Services?
I don't know if it was this set or another set, but he stole donuts, and he went a little berserk. You know, they're all right until they hit estrus, and then they go a little crazy.
That's everybody, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. That's all women.
That's like, that's like chimps. I feel like I may have been talking about this already on the podcast, and it's something I talk about.
Well, it's a very common topic. I mean, orangutans who are in estrus and they lose their mind.
But like acting thespian primates.
Well, that's the character I put in the book. I put a character in the book who reaches estrus during the filming and just loses her mind. But Stinker, who is her owner, he stole her from a traveling Indian circus. He thinks it's funny. It's adorable.
And well, okay, so I've derailed you though. But how did you
I can talk about Tangs forever.
I
but
know.
Going back to this, I mean, so I put this book out. It took about 6 months to write it. It took longer than I thought it would. It was a very particular type of writing, a very specific type of bad writing. And I thought it would take a few weeks, and it took a lot longer. So I put it out, and I sent out a mass email, and a guy named Eric Martin.
The singer from Mr. Big?
Yeah, couldn't believe it.
Wow. He
got in touch with me, and he said that he's producing audiobooks, and he wondered if he could buy the rights. And I said, yeah, of course, not really thinking anything would come of it.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, the real Eric Martin, not the fake singer, he went out and put this thing together. He sold it to Audible.
Mm-hmm.
He put a cast together that just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. Jon Hamm played Stinker.
Yeah.
Ray Seahorn from Better Call Saul played his girlfriend Gwyneth.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Richter was in it. Paul F. Tompkins. Who else was it? The guy who played Philip Baker Hall in Boogie Nights. He played the big man in this book. This guy acted Mamet on stage. He's been around forever, and the fact he would say yes to that really surprised me. But anyway, great cast. John DiMaggio.
I had oysters with him once. Not to name drop.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he's a delight.
Really, really talented cast. So Eric put all this together, and I really had nothing to do with it. It was all him putting it together. He just came through. So it was an interesting...
That's amazing.
Well, yeah, and it opened up a new avenue for me because there's not much money, as you know, in books.
No.
And
unless a lot of people buy them.
Yeah, but how often does that
happen?
happen?
There's only 7 books that people have ever bought.
Right. Especially comedy. It's really tough.
Hothead and
don't
the David
tease me,
Sedaris books. That's about it.
I'm about to jump into Hothead right now.
If you want to take a hot...
But it's not the time yet.
No, when you're ready, a Hothead derailment.
I'm going to go right off the tracks.
Oh.
And, so he put it together, and it opened up a new world for me, really, because it is just... There's more people listening to it. There's more money. And it sounds really good. I mean, these...
You mean the Advance is more?
Well, yeah, the Advance, but really it was just a fun project to watch them do. And
can you hear how desperate I sound? As I write my 3rd book, I'm like, and wait, so it's better?
Well, I'm running on fumes too. I mean, this is a tough occupation, writing for books, very, very tough. And I don't know anyone who just writes books. Even someone like George Saunders has to teach, or used to have to teach. I don't know if he does anymore.
Yeah, there's not many people. Again, I go back to Damon Suede and David Sedaris. Probably the only 2 people.
I'm just jumping right in. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. Let's.
A silent bark squeezed out of Griff in surprise. That's it. That feeling again, and he wanted it. This time Dante knew exactly what he needed to, and he didn't let up on Griff for a second. Dante was sucking and chewing at his blushing hole, stubble grazing the skin between Griff's glutes. Cheek to cheek to cheek to cheek.
Whoa.
I never heard that before.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Cheek to cheek to cheek to cheek. Griff chuckled and gasped as the tongue pushed all the way inside him and his little muscle closed around it. Yes, please. Dante was making insane noises back there, snuffling and groaning as he tried to get his face farther into the deep groove.
As you would, I guess.
This is what you get for doing too many squats at the firehouse.
Wow.
Yeah. There's more to come.
There's more. Yeah, well, let me say, I had it was a delightful time talking to Damon Suede.
I mean, he sounds like a very good writer.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss any of the details.
No.
But anyway, there's a lot of stuff that's going on in here.
And it's a signed copy.
Can I read the signature?
Please.
All right. It says, to Dave, my hot clown lover.
That's an inside joke between the 2 of us.
Thank you for joining my circus of rampant desire. You are hilarious and gorgeous. Burn bright. Damon Suede.
That's lovely.
That's lovely. He seems like a very sweet guy.
Yeah, he's awesome. And
What was I talking
I don't
about?
know. I'm assuming there's already an audiobook for that, but
How can there not be? I mean, did you hear what I just said?
yeah, it was
Do I have to
incredible.
repeat it back to back to back to back?
I mean, well, I wonder. We don't want to read too much of it because then, arguably, this podcast would be competition for.
That's a serious sex session. When you refer to back there, like you're riding in a truck or something, back there the sounds were emanating. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, I'll say. I don't even know what were we talking about before we went.
Talking about glutes and fire.
No, before that, yeah, no.
We were talking about lack of money, but the opportunity to write for a different medium, which is exciting because I think comedy is more effective when it can be heard or seen. You know, when you read, it's the rare person like a David Sedaris who can really make it pop
on the page.
Yeah, but he's brilliant. He can make that happen. All the rest of us is very difficult. So to be able to produce almost an audio movie. You know, this is what that was with music, sound effects, different voices was really fun. And it just opened up a new world. And that's what I'm going to be doing eventually. I can't talk about it too much, but there's another project that I sold to Audible. Now, Stinker took place in the 70s. This one takes place in the 1980s. So
what's that called? Can you tell us?
Yeah, I can say what it's called. It's called Passable in Pink. And it's a John Hughes type of movie.
I love it. And when will that come out?
That will come out after the new year. No specific date yet. And
you have another audiobook locked and loaded.
Yes. This one is through, well, I don't even know if I can say it. It is just about to be signed, the contract.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
This is breaking.
But this book is a book that I found in Maryland at a garage sale in Poolesville. And it was it's a memoir of a guy, 30-something, named Randy in Maryland. And Randy is an interesting guy. He has worked retail most of his life. He's now in his mid-30s. Came upon money when his mam died, and they sold their family farm. I'm sorry.
Excuse me?
His mam.
Mam.
Back to back to back to back.
Wait, so what's a mam?
That's his Meemaw. That's his
Meemaw. That's like a grandma. Yeah.
So his grandmother owned a family farm. When she died, Randy turned it into subdivision and made a lot of money. So he moves into a townhome at the top of the hill.
What's a townhome?
It's like a townhouse, but bigger.
Okay. And
he rules over this development, suburban development, as the president. And with his new money, he hires a memoirist, an Audible memoirist, to put out his story. Much like someone in a Medici in 15th century Italy hiring a patron. You know?
Yeah.
So this guy, Randy, becomes this guy's patron, and it's this guy's job to spin Randy's life to make it more successful than it would look otherwise. But that I found at a garage sale in Maryland.
Just poking around at a garage sale.
Yeah, just poking, looking through the Smithsonian, National Geographics, you know.
And I'm looking, there's a quote from Vice about Randy. The year's best memoir is about a man who shot a porno in a Baskin-Robbins.
That's one of his dreams. He's a big fan of porn parodies, and he is shooting Horn Dog Day, which is like Groundhog Day, but with fucking.
Sure.
So this is what he does, and for for reasons having to do with not wanting to spend much, he rents out the back room of a Baskin-Robbins.
And films a porno there.
In suburban Rockville, Maryland, yeah.
How did he negotiate that? Is that a spoiler?
No, he just paid the manager some extra money.
So
pretty simple, really.
So they're having, wow.
Yeah.
And when will that be can you tell us?
Well, Randy, the book is available now on Amazon.
But the audiobook is
the audiobook is being recorded right now, and it should be available within 2 months.
Now, can you tell us who's on that?
Eric Martin, who was involved with the narration.
The singer
the back-to-back singer. He's involved again. And I can't really give away who plays Randy, but it's a good name.
Oh, man, it's Jon Hamm, isn't it?
No, it's not John.
Oh, you wish it were John.
Damn right, I wish it was.
Oh, man. He's really the tops.
I know he is.
I met him once. You probably hang out with him and stuff. I just met him in passing.
When did you meet him? He's really into the comedy scene.
Exhilarating.
He's a great guy.
I met him at the Sundance Film Festival.
He's a terrific guy.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I made the mistake of posing next to him in a photo, and I looked like some sort of swamp rat.
Well, he's easy on the eyes. You're a handsome man, though. You're selling yourself short.
Well,
I think.
Posing next to this guy was like that little creature who was on in Star Wars that posed next to the really handsome one. You know, the little skittering creature.
Oh.
I mean, people thought I was mentally disturbed when they saw this photo. And what they couldn't hear was the sounds that were coming out of me, because I'm sexually attracted to when someone's very attractive, doesn't matter male or female.
Just in general, you like someone that's easy on the eyes.
So I just start letting out these barks and these grunts, and he didn't know what to make of that at all.
Wow. But have you remained, are you friends? You're friendly? Friendly.
Yeah.
He wasn't
put off by it.
Put off by that, yeah.
I apologized to him. He seemed used to it, quite frankly.
I would think so. He's one
of the best looking people on earth, and then here's me slithering forth from a Louisiana swamp. I don't know where I came from. Have you seen this photo?
I don't think I have. I need to get Google. Maybe I'll get Googling.
I have to show you this photo.
Okay. Sax Ham. There we go. Images.
Can you see it?
It's not coming up.
All right, I'll show you.
Yeah, don't make me work so hard.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, this was out in San Francisco for the San Francisco Sketch Fest.
Yeah, last year, right?
Yeah, he performed live with a bunch of people. Busy Phillips, Andy Richter was out there.
One of the greats.
Yeah, I love Andy. And we were doing a live performance, and beforehand, I thought it would be good to jump into the group, you know, like I was in showbiz or something. And,
sure.
Oh, did I stick out? Wow, I'm not doing that again. I'm staying behind the scenes.
No, don't do it. Let your light shine bright.
Well, I have no light. That's the problem.
That's not true.
It's a mini bulb.
A mini bulb.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll find it and send it to you. I look, like those movies that came out in the 80s where the retarded couple falls in love. I look like
Oh,
that.
yeah. You mean like Normal People?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I have a soundbite of that.
I
mean, not for the purposes of this show. You mean the one starring Sean Cassidy?
Wow, I haven't seen that one. There's about 10 of them. One was Juliette Lewis was in one.
Here, this is one.
Right.
And some big boy came up, pushed me in the water. The water went up over my head.
And
that's what I'm saying. That's who I am right there.
That movie was on TV, and my sister and I, my little sister Katie, watched it, and with the two of us, and that soundbite there, she used to.
Jesus.
When she was like,
oh no,
we were kids, we didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't know. Try pulling that off today, man.
Well, but when we were little kids, we thought it was quite funny.
Of course you did.
We got a big charge out of it.
Did you record your own farts too? I did that as a kid. I found that hilarious.
I did that in my 20s.
Oh.
No, my dad. Maybe it was. I don't know. It might have been in my late teens. But my dad, he's retired now, but he was a lawyer.
Your dad's sweet. You wrote about him in your last book.
Oh yeah, he's the best guy. So he had. Oh wow.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I'm holding up the photo so Dave can look at it now.
Yeah, now I do.
I don't look stable, right? I mean.
Yeah, you look like you're gonna kill. Oh man. Yeah, now that I see it,
that?
Gosh.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
And I'm trying to look as cool as I can look.
You look pretty cool.
Well, look at me with my, and this is the one outfit I have that I'm proud of, and like that. Meanwhile, he needs a shave. He's wearing a hat. He's wearing nothing special, and he just looks
effortless,
dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my dad, because he was a lawyer, so he had like a little. Dictation device.
Right.
You know, with the little cassettes. And so I must have been like 18. I was just starting to get a man's body.
So that was about 18 or so?
Yeah, and I was just you know, you're just capable of more in the fart department as you mature.
Is that true? Your anus expands, becomes mature?
Oh yeah. Well, no, you have more. You're just a larger person.
So before it's higher like a Maynard Ferguson, but later it's deep and soulful like a Miles Davis.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. So I think one summer during college, probably after my freshman year, let's hope, I just kept his tape recorder next to my bed, and I would wake up every morning and record the farts, and it would just be like, and then you would hear this, you would hear the tape recorder turn on and turn off, and then like you'd sort of hear like, you know, the window. Oh yeah, because it was summer. You know, you'd hear the birds chirping. And
it's really a wonder your father thought you would never achieve. Never become a success. I'm shocked by it. He seems like such a patient, sweet man.
He really, really is. And but yeah, I must have had a solid 45 minutes of farts on this tape by the end of the summer.
45?
Yeah.
So it was like a mix. It was like a fart mix.
It was truly a fart mix.
Do you have this tape?
Well, here's the best part. I went back to school, and I just set the recorder back on his
became
desk.
your master's thesis.
And it was, I don't know if my dad ever rewound the tape and hit play or what.
If he did.
Because he was kind of, you know, I don't know if, I just don't know, like, whether he was using it. I don't think he was using it anymore.
He actually had to play that in court as a deposition. So this guy is working his ass off to be an upstanding member of society, and his 18-year-old son comes in and records 45 minutes of fart noises.
Yep.
I just have one thing to say. Dante leaned over his pale torso, running a tan hand over the whorls of cinnamon hair until his rosy nipples tightened. Dante chuckled.
Who can blame him?
Oh, man. Whirls. This guy's good.
He's good. I mean, I think, you know, it's one of the best in the biz.
Who's the Nabokov of homosexual romances? Like, who's the best of the best?
I mean, it could be Damon Suede.
Well, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Damon Suede.
Let's just get on it, get it over with, and look it up. Best gay romance novelists. It's weird. Nothing is it doesn't.
You have your filter up?
Well, you know. Wait, what?
You have your filters up?
No, like, but you know when you type something into Google and it says, "Oh, let me help you out," it tells you. It didn't. Well, Hothead, I'll tell you right now, is on Goodreads.
What's the rating?
It comes in at 4.07 average
good.
rating.
Very good.
How many ratings, you ask? 13,802. Why? What hope is there for the rest? These sorts of numbers. Try temptation parentheses, or no. Another one. 14,721. That's a different author, but I don't even want to look. I haven't even thought of Goodreads.
I have nothing to say except Griff gave him a look, copper brows wrinkled with a question. In the background, the hiss of a shower muffled the room's echo. So tiny. Dante looked up at him with eyes black as volcanic glass. Nipples. You're so huge and they're so small. His hands didn't stop moving. See? It's okay, Griff. It's just fooling around, okay? Sweet.
Yeah. Now, what is that called when you say eyes as black as volcanic? What? What was it? Volcanic.
That's a simile, right?
It's a simile, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. I don't do a lot of that. I mean, whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh, one more reason I suck.
Well, when you write fuck scenes, it's mostly metaphors.
Yeah. That's a metaphor for something.
Yeah, you
compare
compare
all of
it
us,
to something without using the words like or as. That's what
Yeah,
you
that's
about
my
that.
game. But yeah, I gotta start getting some of that. Eyes as black as volcanic.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not writing the same genre,
Yeah.
but wouldn't kill me.
I'm trying to think of a simile for your eyes, and I can't come up with anything.
Just brown as
Brown as fuck.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
about right. Are you? I can't see too well. Are your eyes brown? It's dark. In
One
here.
eye is hazel, the other is an off-white.
What did you? What were you hit by? Like a pitch or something?
I'm like the albino in Foul Play.
Oh yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah, I see it. Wait. So I want to. You had, what was it? The Washington Post did a profile on you.
Yes, recently.
Like 2 weeks ago, right?
Right, in the Sunday Post magazine.
And it was you, hands down, the best author photo I've ever seen.
Right. Well, this is what happened. They said they wanted me to pose in a studio, and as you just saw in that posing with Jon Hamm, I don't look good, right? I need.
You're being too hard on yourself.
Well, I
but
need to be
continue.
out. I'm like a feral creature. I can't be held indoors. So I said to them, "Let's meet in Poolesville, which is a very rural area in Maryland."
And is that where you grew up?
Near it, yeah.
Yeah.
Close to the intersection of this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to send, I think, a female photographer, but because of the location that I requested, they sent a very burly male photographer.
Why? Because it's a rough section? Or
No,
something?
I think they were scared of me. They didn't know what I was capable of because I was having.
I could see that.
I mean, I was like a character in Hothead by Damon Suede.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. But this guy was great. I loved him, and one of his ideas was to pick up a beer can on the side of the road and throw it at him. Jump out of the woods and throw it at him.
Now the bit about he had you jump out of the woods?
Well, it was my idea to go into the woods and jump out, and he wanted me to throw it. So I said, "Why don't I go into the woods, leap out, and throw it at you?" And I proceeded to do that a few times and hit him in the nuts a few times.
Really?
He was very impressed.
Was it a full can of beer?
No, it was empty. It was Miller Lite. And he said, "Did you play ball?" I said, "Yes, I did. Second base." It was like turning a double play.
Yeah.
So right at his nuts. But that he captured. He managed to make the can coming at him clear and my face clear in the background. I don't know how he did it, but I thought it turned out really well.
It's great. I encourage anyone listening to Google it. I think Lucy wants some water.
Go give it to her. You got to.
She's really demanding coke.
Can I just read Hothead while you're...
Yeah. Read Hothead
Okay.
while I get her some water.
Hey, you okay? Dante's breath matched his own, slow and deep. Yeah, it's just a lot. You're better at, sex than I am. Nah. Griff felt unwieldy against him. Dante's body was so sleek and proportioned, and Griff felt like a slab of bleached buff.
I thought you were just
No.
commenting.
I know.
On
I
the
love
writing.
that. Dante's teasing voice was a little husky. Griff looked up, confused. When you blush like that, the way it moves across you, it's like I can see what you're feeling right now when you're feeling it. It's cool.
That's good.
That's some hot
That's the stuff. Man, he's got all. Yeah.
But actually, the Washington Post article was trying to make a correlation between Randy and Kavanaugh, the Judge Kavanaugh situation, which I thought was interesting because I did grow up in Maryland. I was a decade younger than Kavanaugh, but I knew people who went to... Oh, by the way, I'm just looking at your dog, and a guitar pick just flew out of his mouth. Is he eating that?
Well, it's she, and yes.
Okay. Trying to make a connection between Randy and the type of person that Kavanaugh was, which I thought was interesting. That's not why I wrote it.
It's a timely hook.
It is a timely hook. But I did know people like Kavanaugh who went to Georgetown Prep.
I think we all, I know tons of dudes like that. Just rapey bros.
Yeah. I mean, I remember walking through Georgetown, and a group of those guys drove by in a convertible Beamer, as they called it then, a white Beamer, blasting music, and they threw a bottle at me and yelled "fag."
I could see that.
Yeah. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I'm just saying it happened.
Just, yeah. They threw a bottle at you and said,
yelled "fag." Yeah. So I think you're right. Everyone knows this type of person, but it's very specific. I mean, I knew where Kavanaugh grew up and where he went to school, and it's just like, oh, I can see them now. I just know that type.
Yeah.
Just entitled and just like old Maryland money. And
Yeah.
he knows what he's going to do in his life. He knows he's going to be a judge. His mom was a lawyer. I think his dad was a judge. So he knows where he's going. So Randy's sort of the opposite of that. It's like those characters I used to work with in retail growing up, where they had no outlet and they didn't know where they were going to end up, and they could work retail the rest of their lives. And they live on the outskirts of DC, never go into DC, very provincial, and just sort of wonder how they can make a connection.
Yeah.
And this really, I worked 10 years in a record store in Maryland called Kent Mill Records, and I worked with a lot of people, and I was friends with a lot of people like this character in the book, who just don't know how to do it. How do you go from point A to point B? It's just, I didn't know how to do it.
Me neither. I mean, I think it reminds me of, I'm from Cleveland, and I feel like part of I was just kind of like waiting for something to. Lucy's knocked over hothead.
I
Great.
can see that.
Because I think that's what if I stayed in Cleveland, I think I probably would have. That would have been me, and I was just kind of waiting for something magical to whisk me away.
Well, do you think you could still be there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing what?
I would be miserable. I was, when I lived there, before I came here, I was freelance writing, as for whoever. I'd done some stuff. I'd written for I was writing for the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I'd written a piece for Salon, and was starting to write for magazines and stuff. But you don't need a lot of money to live in Cleveland.
But you wouldn't have been happy.
No, I think I would have just kind of. But my point is because I was just so not wanting to be a part of society. I was just how can I exist on the fringes and not leave my house?
Right. Well, to be fair to you and to a younger version of me, it was tougher then because there was no internet.
Right.
So we were really isolated.
Yeah.
See, this is what I saw recently at a screening of Cabin Boy, is that every one of those people who saw it together at Nighthawk in Brooklyn originally saw it, including myself, alone in the theater or alone at home.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the internet, you can form a community, especially a comedic community, now that you couldn't put together before. And it was a real sense, for me anyway, of isolation, very much sense of isolation. When I was growing up, there were like-minded people out there, but I just didn't know how to get a hold of them.
Right. I mean, that's I felt I was I know a few guys and handful of guys in Cleveland who maybe, my close friends, and maybe this guy over here and this guy over here. But yeah, it's not like now when you can
no,
just be who likes.
But from what I heard, Cleveland is actually, there is a subculture there, whether it's Pierre Ubu or the station that broke all those great Bowie and all those great Rush.
Yeah, WMMS. Yeah, there absolutely. I mean, Cleveland is awesome. I think it was just though coming from a similar, where it's you go to school with a lot of Brett Kavanaugh types, and you're okay, so I can be a lawyer or a doctor, or I can go into sales of some sort, work at a bank. I definitely don't want to do any of those things, so I'm going to avoid.
Well, you had to forge your own path. You had to wend your way through something you didn't know existed.
Yeah, that's exactly
So I do think it's easier now. So what do you tell... Well, first of all, why did you make the decision to leave Cleveland? Because that's a big decision. Your family was there. That's what you knew.
Hey, Lucy, come on. I was writing for, whoever, I was doing some corporate writing. I was doing magazines and newspaper and stuff. And then my friend John Kimbrough was doing the music for a show here, on Spike TV at the time. And he was hey, they do these you should submit jokes to this show. And they would do these writers meetings, like once a week, where people that didn't work there could come in and just be like, "Here's what I got."
Wow, that's
and
great.
They would give you
that's a good opportunity.
They would give you, some money for that, and I started doing it. I just never mentioned that I didn't live in New York.
Well, that's the key to success. You just act like you belong there.
Yeah, I was just like, they're like, "Hey, we're going to do another meeting Thursday. Can you make it?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, sure.
I'll be back."
And I started doing this, and I remember thinking, like, I think this could be something. Like, I'm going to just kind of see where this goes. And there was a meeting on, like, December 23rd or 24th, like, of 2002. And I remember, like, oh, that's, like, so close to Christmas. I can't. And I was in Cleveland. They're like, "Hey, can you come into this meeting?" And I thought, like, I'm just going to go. I have to go to this meeting. So I flew up, went to the meeting, and flew home all in the same day. And then one day they were like, "Hey, do you want to just work full time?" And so I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I just never told them that I didn't live in
They
New
never
York.
found out you didn't live.
Well, they eventually did when I was like, "Oh, I've been commuting 500 miles for
So that must have impressed them, right? I mean, that's a sincere effort to get a job.
Yeah, so
What show was this?
it was called Crash Test. And it was a bad show, but there's a lot of great people working on it. And I made a lot of good friends that I'm still friends with. And
And look at you now.
look at me now.
You're the Dave
living
Hill.
the sweet life here on an unnamed street.
Yeah, I'm not going to name the street, but it's a fantastic location.
It's fantastic.
I love it.
Yeah, it all worked out. But I think, interestingly, like most of the people my close friends in Cleveland all kind of forged their own path, whether they stayed in town or not. Like almost, they all work for themselves, like do some sort of thing they figured out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing that I found is that when you don't know what you want to do, but you know what you don't want to do is career-wise, it's tough, and it takes longer sometimes than what your friends are doing. I mean, they know they want to go to law school, med school, grad school, or work for their father or whatever, but when you don't know, when it's limitless, it takes a while to figure out.
Yeah, when you're just, yeah. But did you spend... Lucy.
Is this story bringing Lucy down? What?
It's just it hits a little too close to home.
Oh, sorry, Lucy.
She left Tennessee at the age of 2 months.
What are her dreams? What does Lucy want?
Honestly, like beef jerky. That's about it.
Lucy just wants to pamper Lucy.
Yeah, and run around and play.
Okay, well, it's not a bad life, really.
I mean, to be honest, I don't want much more either. It's just that I have to. Guess who has to pay the rent here?
But the advantage is for her, she doesn't know she's going to die. That's a pretty big advantage.
That's true. I feel like she's. Maybe I'm giving her too much credit for being wise. But
do you think she's like the kids from Fame, that she thinks she's going to live forever?
She maybe does.
Like Coco?
Yeah, just like Coco.
Yeah.
No, but what I wanted to ask you is, did you spend time like that where you were just kind of avoiding?
Oh, years and years and years and years. I mean, I graduated college, and then it took a good 6 years to find my feet.
I took long. I remember, in fact, my mother saying, "You've been out of college 6 years. What are you doing?" And yeah, and then even after I wound up in New York, and was already writing for TV on and off, there was still a tremendous amount of worry.
Well, there still is. I mean, this is a career where you don't know where you're going to end up, which makes it exciting, but it's also a little worrying. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year, you know?
Yeah, Yeah, there's.
I don't have an office. I don't have patients. I don't have a store.
We should get a store.
Oh man, what would you sell?
Cobby's a hothead. Gatorade.
No, that's it. The hothead. Everything hothead.
Yeah, hothead. And I was gonna tell Damon Suede he should make a doll called Suede Damon, and it's just him, like with like a sort of a
Suede Damon. Oh, that's good.
yeah, like a doll that's like
Or-
a fake. I don't think it should be real. Suede.
No, it should be Hot Damon and just a suede doll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make a night of it.
Is he gonna be listening to this?
I think it's unlikely. I hope it's clear that I am a fan, right?
I'm very impressed with this.
We're not. I'm very pro. Lucy, come on.
I'm a fan of this type of writing. This is what I like. I don't like New Yorker style short stories. I like pulp.
Yeah.
I like romance, anything interesting, anything a little different.
Mm-hmm.
Adventure, mystery, horror. Big horror fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So when you write and when you do these books that have like Stinker and Randy, and do you read a lot of these sort of books, like pulp books for?
Yeah, I do. I have a collection of novelizations and pulp type of books, and I genuinely just love it. I really do. They're not easy to write.
No.
You could give an MFA student at the University of Iowa a subject of hothead, he wouldn't or she wouldn't be able to write it. It's not easy writing this stuff, and to make them realistic is tough. Sometimes tougher than making a Achiever or Robert Coover type of short story. But that's what interests me more. Reading about a family man in Connecticut doesn't interest me. I have nothing to no connection to that world.
Mm-hmm.
But I like being taken away to a world I wouldn't be able to go to, whether it's crime or whatever it happens to be. To create that world, to me, is just as hard as creating a sci-fi world or a fantasy world.
Yeah.
To make it realistic. So these aren't easy to write. I genuinely do enjoy reading these type of books.
Mm-hmm. And when you write, do you write them with the idea that they'll be these audiobooks, or do you
now I
write them for
do.
the
Well,
page?
that's what's changed. The first one I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I've written these past two books, they were with an eye for, instead of being read internally, for them to be read out loud, orally. So I wrote it a little bit differently, but it was fun to be able to do that, to write it so that it would be heard rather than internally read, which I've never really done before. Occasionally, but not often. And that's what you don't need now millions of dollars to make that happen through a film production company. You can just do it. You can create your own audio films now on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a great advantage for the writer. It didn't exist for me years ago.
Yeah.
And it's really a powerful thing to have at your fingertips.
Yeah, it's exciting. Lucy, Jesus. There's a lot of Lucy in this episode.
Lucy's in a mood today.
She's in a snit.
Is she an
Feels
estrus?
like I don't know how that works. She's spayed. Do you think could she still get estrusy?
Estrusy? I don't think so. I don't know. You're talking a foreign language right now.
Yeah.
You're talking medical speak. I can't speak medical speak.
No. Man, oh man.
I'm just waiting for Inge Dave.
Dave.
Is he gonna call in?
We don't have the technology for that. Lucy, this is, it's cute to a point.
Oh, look at her. She's bowing
an
down
attractive
before you.
dog, isn't
She's
she?
beautiful. I love Lucy.
Beautiful girl.
She's in love with you.
I'm in love with her, to be honest.
She's a good-looking dog.
Yeah.
You should see my cat. He's not a svelte creature like Lucy.
No, Lucy is truly, like, you set her loose in the
Fast.
woods or something. It's like taking a
see that.
sports car down a country
I can
road.
see that. She's beautifully proportioned.
She really is.
Did I just go too far?
No, it's, I think there is something, if I may with dogs, when they're really attractive, you start to get confused about your feelings about them.
Oh, I've been confused for a long time.
I don't have urges with her, but I remember my sister, we had this Rottweiler, it was our friend's Rottweiler, and we had it for a year, and this dog was just gorgeous, and I think my sister, she just couldn't process how beautiful she thought this dog was, and she's like, she couldn't, she didn't have sex with the dog.
Okay.
That's not where this is headed.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping it was.
Well, that's a whole other podcast.
Is this a younger sister or an older sister?
Older.
And so how did she come to deal with the beauty of the Rottweiler?
I think she was just, sort of puzzled by it. She's just like, I'm just so stunned. Like the only time she had felt so just smitten was in a romantic context.
Well, I feel the same way when I see these female models in Condé Nast building. They're just freaks. They're freakish. You don't know how to... I mean, where do they come from? Who are they? Why are they so gorgeous? What's going on? I feel confused and angry.
Yeah.
And turned on, too.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's a different thing, because you presumably are physically attracted to them.
I am, yes.
So I feel like we're talking about something different.
Well, I don't know. Can you bridge it somehow?
Yeah, I'm going to try. Yeah, we'll fix it. When this is edited, it'll seem like
Have Ing Dave
a linear...
call in.
Like,
or you can just edit me reading this again.
Yeah, do it. What a hothead.
Not anymore.
We don't hear from any lawyers.
Well, not a womanizer anymore. I think we can safely cross that one off. A midget. Fuck off!
That seems like it was something from Stinker. Let's Loose.
Yeah, I know.
But that was Hothead.
No, this is Hothead. Yeah. Oh, so Griff pats him on his head with a reassuring hand, and he says, so they'd have to be tall for when you can't reach things? Dante grabbed Griff's nuts and squeezed. I can be a hothead if I'm not careful. So this is going places I never imagined.
Yeah.
You got midgets, you got nuts, you got firemen, you got Lucy. Right now, giving me her toy.
Pretty much the full package.
Damn. You don't get this at NPR.
No, you don't. They did have like pastries and stuff, which was cool. For the listener, I was just at NPR. But
I love free food.
It's the best.
It's the best. Just nibble and nush.
You just help yourself.
Sure.
Or don't. It's up to you.
It's your life. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
But if you were back in Cleveland working as a lawyer, would you get a free knish? I don't think you would.
No. I would be horrible at that.
At what?
Being a lawyer.
Yeah, you wouldn't be good. But I can see you be like the cool lawyer that all the musicians go to.
Yeah, they'd be like, you got a demo? You want me to shop your demo? I do mostly real estate law, if that's even a thing. I don't know.
It is a thing.
It must be, right?
Yeah.
But, I do know some guys in the industry.
Right, you dabble in the industry.
Yeah, and my hair would be like a longish.
Yeah, and you'd be on the cover of Cleveland Lawyer magazine a few times.
Yeah, like with a motorcycle.
In a field.
Yeah.
Just cruising into nowhere.
This is the whole other life I could have had.
What? Why'd you leave, man? Mistake.
I don't know. It's definitely hard to say, really, like, whether it was the move. I don't know. You know?
Do you give kids advice when they ask you for advice? Do you say to come to New York?
I guess my sometimes it depends what they want to do. Sometimes I just say, just move to Los Angeles, quit messing around, because I feel obvious if they're asking about comedy.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like obviously there's a lot many more opportunities there.
It seems like everyone's moving out to LA, doesn't it?
Really does. I mean, I always say that Cleveland is to New York as New York is to LA in terms of show business opportunities. Like, the Cleveland of showbiz. You kind of have to forge your own
You do, but
path.
I think now it doesn't really matter where you are unless you want to write for a TV show. I mean, if you want to write books, you can write anywhere.
That's true.
I would love to be out of New York just writing books.
Like leave? You would
Yeah,
love to
leave.
leave New York.
Yeah, I can't leave, but I would love to.
I think of that sometimes, but then I went upstate for 3 days.
I'm not talking about upstate. I'm talking about like New Orleans.
Oh yeah, you were talking about New Orleans.
Oh, it's the best.
I love New Orleans.
I love it. I love it. Just down there for 4 nights for just a vacation.
Just good times. What do you get up to when you go down there?
Not much, although my cousin got tied to a bed with...
Excuse me?
Yeah, he got dropped a Mickey, and he met...
Really?
Yeah, this woman he met in the French Quarter, 4 a.m. They ended up at the Hustler Sex Store, which is open all night.
Sure.
They bought handcuffs and some other things. They went back to his hotel room. He passed out, and when he awoke, he was chained to the bed with these sex handcuffs, which you can release. You don't need a key to release these. So with his other hands, he released himself and walked over and looked at his wallet. All his money was stolen, and she had already called in his credit card, which had been rejected. And I said, why would they reject it? You had used it on your vacation already.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, yeah, well, last time this happened to me, that woman stole my credit card. I said, wait, so you're flagged for New Orleans? If someone uses your credit card at like 4 a.m. for a high-priced item, they know not to accept that. He goes, yeah, I guess so. And he said,
this is your cousin?
My cousin. He goes,
He's rules.
He's awesome. Meanwhile, this was his work credit card, so he had to deal with that when he got home.
Can you say what he does?
He's in computer technology in Northern Virginia. He's a great guy.
He sounds like he has it all.
But I'm coming home at 11 a.m. with my girlfriend and my cousins, and we were staying in an Airbnb, and all the young people in the Airbnb were leaving at 11 p.m. So it's not like it was when I was going down there in school. I'm older now, and just like...
Where'd you go, to Tulane?
I went to Tulane, yeah. Visited Tulane, went to Audubon Park, Camellia Grill, all these great restaurants. It's really changed. I mean, that city, we stayed in Marigny, which is east of French Quarter.
That's a good spot.
Great spot, and it's just really changed since I've been down there, for the better, I think. It's just a very lively city that has a lot of vibrancy, which I didn't always notice when I was going to school.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's favorite cities.
My daughter is 9.5, so when she goes off to college, assuming she goes to college, I'm not necessarily pushing it. I'm not a big fan of high-end colleges. I don't think it really does much.
No, it doesn't.
It costs a tremendous amount of money. But if she does go to college, or even if she doesn't, I'm going to move out of here. I don't think you need to be here to succeed anymore.
No, I know plenty of. I know a few, I should say, comedians back in Cleveland who are doing great, and they live there.
And they're happy, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can live on, you need like literally a third of the money to...
That's right. And you have family back there, and it's very livable. I mean, I think a lot of people who want to get into comedy assume they have to move to New York or move to L.A. and work writing rooms, which may sound better in theory than it is in reality. But I think a lot of people find that it's not necessarily, it's a good job, but it's not the dream job. To me, the dream job is doing whatever you want, however you want, on your own. I don't think, having to go into an office every day and write stuff down on 3x5 cards with like 13 other depressives is necessarily the best way to live a life. I would rather just be alone. So there are more options now that didn't exist.
You and me both.
You know what it's like to be in a writing room.
I've been in a few of them, yeah. It can be fun, but it can also be, there's snacks. That's good.
Well, everyone imagines it's going to be your show of shows,
Yeah.
And it's not. It's just a bunch of writers in a room together all day. And it's a hard job. Writing for late night TV is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of material they have to produce is crazy. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So much of it just gets shot down.
It's a monster, just eaten. Day after day after day, the same subjects too. You're writing about Trump for 4 years.
Yeah, that's got to be. I don't even think about that.
Oh, I don't know if I could do it. I really don't. It'd be soul sucking.
Yeah, but I don't know.
What I'm saying is that there are options. There are options out there. You don't
have
to do this. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Give me a 2-minute warning. I'm going to read the end of Hothead as we segue out of here.
Don't blow the ending.
Oh, shoot.
No pun intended.
No, I'm not going to do that. Okay. Well, just give me a warning.
Give you the warning when it's time to hit.
Yeah,
Hothead.
just shoot me a sign.
We're getting very close because we're almost at an hour. We got a couple. I mean, we're literally very soon. I'm going to give you the Hothead.
Okay. The Hothead sign.
The Hothead sign.
This is the last page of Hothead. And this is just a taste of what Hothead has to offer. Honestly, from what I can see, it's very well written. I would recommend
Oh, yeah.
If this is your thing, this is a good book.
Yeah, yeah. I hope
And a hot cover. Look at that cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the one guy works out more than the other, you can tell.
Right.
The other guy's like, that's the danger of working out. You know, you got to maintain it.
Well,
That's
look,
what I've learned.
they both look pretty good to me, quite frankly.
I don't know. One feels like he looks like he's, he likes his ice cream a little more than the other. Just a little.
Just shoot me that sign, man. I'm ready.
I'd say do it. Drive it home.
All right. Page 416. Griff kissed him once, licking his teeth, and tried to look serious. He might be in a state of shock. And just like that, Dante went still, his eyes wide and warm and scarab dark. Ooh.
See, he did it
I know,
again.
I know. I should be. He raised a hand to trace Griff's broad chest, his soft lips, his fiery hair, and took a handful to pull him down so that their mouths were an inch apart again. I should be, huh, G? But I'm not. Griff rolled over slowly onto his back, taking Dante with him to lie on top. The black curls tumbled across their faces, almost shutting out the bronze walls, so it was only them together, breathing the same air, lips just brushing. Well, Griff whispered, maybe I can shock you.
Wow.
Yeah. Griff. That's not an easy name to read out loud. Griff.
Yeah. It's tricky. I know a Griff.
Really?
Very different from the guy in that book.
You think so?
As I know him, he's quite different.
Yeah, because all Griffs have secrets.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much...
This is the griffiest of the Griffs. This guy.
Yeah, he's pretty griffy as Griffs go. Well, Mike, this has been a journey.
Thank you, Dave, for having me over to your house. It was fun.
Don't read directly off the card.
It was fun. I do appreciate it. I'm a big fan of yours, as you know.
I'm right back at you. We didn't even get to. You've been on my radio show multiple times, my WFMU radio show, and you were there when I got my first letter from prison.
Yes, I was.
And then,
good memory.
Yeah, that was a special night.
You've kept in touch with that guy.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, he was in for, it was like child molestation or something. We looked it up.
It was worse than that. Let's not.
Worse than that?
Yes.
And he's listening to your podcast.
No, he's not listening to this podcast.
Not this podcast, but he's listening to FMU.
The radio show, yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like we're safe from him
Man.
hearing that.
Is he going to get in touch with you when he's out?
I don't think he's getting out.
But
Well,
worse.
no time soon.
Good Lord. Now I'm itching to know what he did.
Yeah, now we've really... Well, let's say, do you promise you'll come back and
Definitely.
we'll talk about what he did?
I will come back only for that.
We've really left it on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
And then we'll finish here, and then I'll plug your books and your audiobooks.
I love
and
it. Look at
things.
this, right at 1 hour. You're good.
Boom. Oh, you could see that. So you knew we were getting...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's professionalism
Oof.
you're picking up on.
You have a third sense.
Yeah. Lucy's checked out.
Good. Sweet dog.
Don't
no,
mention
she's a
that,
good
Lucy.
girl. She's a good girl.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike.
Thank you, sir.
And there you have it. My delightful conversation with Mike Sachs. By all means, get his books, listen to his podcast, and check out his audiobooks, which are hilarious. And just get into his world. Get up in his... No, I don't know what I was about to say. It's weird. Anyway, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode. we'll keep evolving. If you have any questions, again, chit-chat at Dave Hill Online, or you can just, tell me what you think. What else do you want to hear on this podcast? Should I shut up more? Should I just go get a career training in another field? I don't know. But you can, all that stuff, chit-chat at davehillonline.com. My thanks to my partner in crime, Chris Gersbeck, who handles all the futuristic, technological, behind-the-scenes magic of this podcast. Rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your incredible podcasts. And please help us keep gas in the tank, help us keep growing this podcast and be able to do other sweet podcasts by going to patreon.com/Dave Hill, or go to patreon.com, search Dave Hill, and support this podcast. You get all sorts of incredible gifts, prizes, gang member initiations, and beyond. All right, that about covers it. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and you're handing down some severe beatdowns on Black Friday and beyond. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. What was that sound?